Welcome to this week's chapter, which is chapter 9, social institutions or social structure and social institution. So, I guess you can say that social structure, it's a set of social institutions developed by human beings to impose constraints on human interaction for the purpose of survival, well-being of the collectivity. So, simply, social institutions are, you have the family, right? And things like, but there's different, ways of looking at families, right? There's laws, there's, religious dogma, then education, which, it's educational institution, right? So it's supposed to, instruct individuals so that, hopefully we all have, at least the same starting point. Of course, we know that that's not necessarily the case. I already mentioned religion, economics, government, in the figure below, we have a few more that may or may not have been mentioned in the book. The military, mass media, medicine, I guess government and politics go hand by hand, and so law and government so too. Let me go into, I think I probably said it a few times, that I think it's important to, not only know the, theories, but, individuals, meaning the creators, the people in the forefront of, the theories and, ideology. So I want to go over a few. This is the first one, Karl Marx, which some of you may remember, whenever you hear about communism and socialism. But anyway, social institutions are determined by the society's mode of production. So, that obviously changes due to, technology and resources available. I mean, we may have, less oil, meaning, less gas. So then we create institutions to alternative modes of energy and so on. Social institutions serve to maintain the power of the dominant class. Well, we all hear that the rich, or the 1% in the U.S., have a lot to say, and dominates, because we're a capitalist society. Weber, which philosopher, which you might remember, says that social institutions are interdependent, but no single institution determines the rest. I would maybe disagree was that, you know, the causes and consequences, actually, I should say that that should be, you know, in the best case scenario, this first statement, social institution, interdependent, but no single institution determine the rest. Which is funny, because currently we have, you know, maybe the president by, I don't know, by either stacking the Supreme Court or by, you know, setting the Postal Service, the Postmaster General, Louis DeJoy, you know, which, you know, are things that should be, you know, no single institution determine the rest. And in fact, you can argue that, you know, religion may, you know, it's separate from, you know, government. The causes and consequences of social institution cannot be assumed in advance. You know, you know, I guess you could view that just because, you know, we can never predict the future, and also, you know, you can view it maybe negatively that some agencies, you know, may become obsolete, or that, you know, government move slower than technology. I don't know, things like that. Durkheim, philosopher, set the stage for later functionalist analysis of institutions by concluding that religion promotes social solidarity and collective conscience. I would think that should be clear. We may be, well, I mean, we are, I mean, I don't think it's a surprise to anybody that the U.S. is basically a Christian dominated society, and there are others that are, you know, let's say Muslim or other religions, and you know, we as believers, you know, may collectively have a consciousness of, you know, that I don't know, human life and human well-being is important, and you know, things like that. Functionalist theory. The social institution listed, sorry, this is from a book, fulfill functional prerequisites and are essential. Well, functionalists, you know, like I said, most terms, you know, what they mean is what they, you know, it's on the word function, right? So, well, you know, yes, essential. You know, why is the police present, you know, or as an institution? Well, to establish order. I mean, I know that right now that's controversial, but you know, in essence, you know, we need that, or we need laws to hopefully that chaos and, you know, resolutions between parties, and I mean any definition of parties, from people to, I mean, from individuals to groups to political parties, and etc. Conflict theory. Social institutions tend to reinforce inequalities and uphold the power of dominant groups. This is the second time that we see that. You know, there's a conflict between, you know, the powerful and the not so powerful. And, we may have institutions, I don't know, ACLU, even, Black Lives Matter, can be obviously seen as an institution, against, the unequal treatment of, well, I'll say black and brown, because, that's, I don't think nobody would like to omit, the, brown brothers, so to speak. And, there's a lot of historical cooperation between, black and brown people. But anyway, I digress. Emphasizes division and conflict within social institutions. Well, again, you may have religion, and if you don't think there's conflict, I'll give you a small example, even though I'm not going to open that Pandora's box, so to speak, which is abortion, or the right to women to decide, or even universal mail-in vote. Yeah, so conflict, right? Symbolic interactionism focuses on interactions and other symbolic communication within a social institution. So, symbolic communication, should I, there's a lot symbolic communication between, the state and religion, or the state and I mean, you name it. Right now with the pandemic, and this may get too complicated to, obviously I'm not going to expand on this, but the relationship between the government and the health providers or health institutions, right? Okay, so let's move on. I'm not going to read this table or this exhibit because, you have it in the book. You also have it in, in this PowerPoint. This is a short video which I recommend that you click. Here's the link down here. Obviously you're watching this in YouTube, so it's not going to be available, but you definitely, since you're in YouTube anyway, you can look for it. This is the source, this is the title. We have, we're talking about institution and how does that affect our, behavior, really, right? Because this is dimensions of human behavior, right? History and the social environment, which obviously contain the social institution. Globalization, it's a process. Well, I'll read it first and then I comment on that. Process through which people's lives all around the world become increasingly interconnected, economically, politically, environmentally, and culturally. I mean, where should I start? Politically, we have institutions that, I don't want to get too much to politics, but for instance, when the U.S. Sort of got out of the Paris climate meetings, that sort of the opposite, I would say, of globalization. In a way, usually I would say that globalization tends to have a bad rap, which you can probably argue that, in the end of the day, it may end up being, bad. But on the other hand, we are all interconnected, so there's gains to be, achieved from, having, this communication, trade, now with the technology, yes, to a certain, well, not to a certain extent, but in the past, before any computers, part of this globalization happened because, we had, before we just had to walk everywhere, right? And, just trains, well, actually, there were horses and horse carriages and, the rest, then trains, sailing, ship became, more stable and bigger and faster, and planes. But really, it's this, the internet and technology had advanced so much that, I mean, imagine the future now that, for instance, and I know I don't want to make this a sci-fi kind of a movie theme, but, we have 3D printing, and some people are actually printing even food. I mean, of course, you need the basic ingredients. But anyway, the share of technology, culturally, now we, just to mention something maybe more common, we have, if you see in food, we have so many fusions, right? Korean, Mexican, etc. And that's just with food, in terms of, we open up and, with maybe the yoga explosion of, meaning, so common, we have, people seeking, that connection with the spiritual side, and even, maybe a different perspective of spirituality than, the Western side, and so on. So, so usually, globalization is seen kind of negative, especially in the sense of, the U.S., send, have, factories in Mexico or somewhere in China, and, people are being abused, and the environment is being, depleted, and so on. I'm not gonna, because of time, I'm not gonna go to detail about the Gini index, so please read it. I also have a little video here which will help you. Let's see. Just keep going. There's another video about, social inequality. Now with, for instance, depending on what happened, actually maybe even this week with the Supreme Court nominee, we, and depending on the election and all of that, we may see that the Affordable Care Act may be gone, so is that remember the conflict theory part of the discussion, the table I showed earlier? and we keep going. You can argue. Let's talk about the sort of elephant in the room. I know that what I'm about to say may not have to deal a lot of what you see on the screen, but the goals and objective of HBCUs. I'm not going to say anything controversial because I totally believe and that there's a good reasons for its existence, and that if anything, it should be supported both economically, socially, even spiritually more than it is right now. But my point is that maybe now, I'm trying to say is that even though the how it was created may seem a little different now than then, because there was people of color were not allowed to enter public or some private institutions, and we needed to educate our fellow human beings that were highly segregated and and being discriminated, even though it seems like obviously we're 100 years now, but I still think that some of the things are still have changed, but in other ways haven't. I like to think that and especially in social work, we do care individualistically about each our students, and that we don't shy away from conversations that we should be having about race, inequality, the state of Mississippi, and so on. Which this conversation can go on forever. I suggest that if you want to add to your experience and learning experience, you do watch all of the videos. It shouldn't be that long, and I always try to get ones that are well produced, have good quality, good kind of information, and hopefully that will add to the understanding of this chapter. Let's see, if you see there are videos about almost every single institution that is listed in your book. Again, this goes back to Weber, which I recommend that you become aware of, this name of this series, right? And the individuals who develop them. Let me just say that even though I think you're all doing a good job with your discussions, but there's a reason that each chapter has either one or more than one case study, and it's to use it as the backbone, as the basis, as the help you understand and also help you communicate what is learned in in the chapter. So, as I mentioned many times, I do encourage, and by that I mean really encourage, for you to, use the language. If I don't see you using the language that I either use in my videos or in the book or in the PowerPoint, what's the point? How do I know that you're learning or at least listening to what is, been said either through these videos or some, your readings, etc. I was going to say one last thing. Let's see. Anyway, you can remember again, make sure that you stay healthy, protected, and so your family, like they say in an airplane, when the mask, the oxygen mask go down, make sure that you don't start helping anybody before you put your mask on, right? So take care of yourself first, and then so you can take care of your loved ones and friends. I wish you all, the best. And also, I'll keep saying it through all my videos. Make sure you go and vote. If you think there's going to be a long line, I actually bought a folding chair, one of those camping folding chairs, and if it's raining, I'll take my umbrella, and I don't know, maybe we'll see. You never know, so keep that literally in your back of your trunk. All right. Well, take care. Bye-bye.